This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. The value of art is in its immortality. Poets and artists strive to maintain the beauty of the moment for people to enjoy it forever. In many cases, immortality closely correlates with life, symbolizing eternity and contrasting with lifelessness. Similarly, artistic objects are compared to living ones that never age but exist beyond time and space. How is the contrast between life and art developed in Ode on a Grecian Urn? In this essay, I attempt to answer this question. Ode on a Grecian Urn Summary. Ode on a Grecian Urn is a poem written by John Keats, one of the most renowned English poets, in 1989. In 5 stanzas, Keats focuses on an ancient Greek urn. He describes the images that are depicted there. The 2 scenes that the author describes in detail are the one with a couple of lovers and the one with a group of people that are gathering to perform a sacrifice. The poem was mercilessly criticized during Keats's lifetime. Its significance was recognized only by the middle of the 19th century. Ode on a Grecian Urn Theme, Immortality. In the 3rd stanza of John Keats's poem Ode on Grecian Urn, the poet addresses a tree that will never shed leaves. The description creates a paradox of lifelessness, and life is also expressed beyond the fair lady and the love and acquires a more temporal form. The symbols of eternity encapsulated in the poem's repetitions of the word forever are also present in describing the unheard song and pipes playing endlessly. In addition, John Keats's odes present his own existential vision through the living death of immortal lovers who surpass this paradox through the scene of sacrifice. On the whole, Keats's poem is a deep philosophical reflection on the complex conflict between life and art, symbolizing eternity, living death, and the existence of art beyond the real world, which transfers the readers to another conceptual dimension. The contrast between life and art in Ode on a Grecian Urn. In the poem, Keats adheres to a philosophical representation of the connection between art and life through the concept of eternity. What is the meaning of the Grecian urn? Why is it the central object in the poem? Time does not affect the urn because it is composed of stone that never ages and that can resist any changes. Happy, happy boughs that cannot shed your leaves, nor ever bid the spring adieu. Keats envisions the theme of immortality in Ode on a Grecian Urn to capture the conflict between art and life because once, the poet, has imaginatively grasped the eternal beauty of the model and the material through which the sculptor of the urn worked, the problem of their actual existence completely vanishes. This relation becomes one of the central Ode on a Grecian Urn themes. Keats's deviation from reality enables him to cognize the actual connection between art and life beyond time and space. His attempt to capture the immortal beauty is also brightly perceived in one of other John Keats's odes, Ode on Melancholy. She dwells with beauty, beauty must die, and joy, whose hand is ever at his lips, bidding adieu, and aching pleasure nigh. In this respect, the poet provides a vivid account of the intense, complex struggle to replace with hope the bleakness of a world deprived of the consolidation of faith. At this point, Keats believes that imagery is one of the most potent tools enabling us to connect the concept of art and life. The living death is another topic in Ode on a Grecian Urn, integrated by the author to reach the connection between art and eternity. Keats's aspiration to create the town outside the art is also challenged in the poem, O Attic Shape.
Fair attitude. With breed of marble men and maidens overwrought, as doth eternity, cold pastoral.
Interpreting this, the poet believes consecrated objects is an intense hostility toward the temporal advancement that is perpetually proving the absolute to be, after all, relative. Similar to this, Keats condemns temporality in his other poems. I have been half in love with easeful death, called him soft names in many amused rhyme. When one reads these lines, it is understandable that Keats's desire to achieve immortality is committed to a consciously alternative plan of salvation. Therefore, all his creative searching is aimed at prolonging his poetical existence. How does Keats make people permanent by art in Ode on a Grecian Urn? The literary techniques and elements are also aimed at creating another reality where all of Keats's ideas and goals can be carried out. The line-by-line analysis shows that symbolic representation and personification are among those literary devices fostering the interpretation of the established connection between art and immortality. Specifically, Keats creates a paradox of living death through sacrifice. Who are these coming to the sacrifice?
To what green altar, O mysterious priest, leadst thou that heifer lowing at the skies, and all her silken flanks with garlands drayest?
In order to explain the sensory imagery used by the author, it can be stated that poems are encountered as coherent objects contained by intersecting or adjacent ground of interpretations, including field defined by genre, period, language, and tradition. In order to adhere to the established traditions of Romantic literature, Keats resorts to allegory and symbolism as the primary literary devices to reach the goal. This is also seen in other John Keats's odes, such as in Ode on Psyche, where Keats explicitly represents his emotional state between the natural world and the artistic one, two fair creatures, couched side by side.
In deepest grass, beneath the whispering roof of leaves and trembled blossoms.
According to Spiegelman's analysis of Keats's poetry, his most important compositional choices demonstrates his intelligent restraints, even at a moment of ecstasy. Therefore, both Ode on Psyche and Ode on Grecian Urn disclose ambivalence and controversy between the art and life in his reality. Ode in a Grecian Urn literary analysis. This analysis aimed to show how the contrast between life and art is developed in Ode on a Grecian Urn by Keats. In summary, it should be stressed that all of Keats's poems are directed at creating an alternative world. Specifically, John Keats's Ode on Grecian Urn is a philosophical deliberation on sophisticated relations between art and life that are expressed through eternity, living death and sacrifice, and existential motifs created in the imaginary world. The themes of eternity are also amplified in other poems by John Keats. Art and poetry can contribute to creating another conceptual dimension where everyone can live forever. That's what the author attempted to show. Did you like this How Does Keats Explore the Theme of Life and Art in Ode on a Grecian Urn sample? To get more works like this one, make sure to check out the database of academic paper examples at ivypanda.com. You will find thousands of samples for all your study needs.